Have you ever felt like there's so much you want to do, so much you want to achieve, but there is never enough time? And just to embark on a new project, like reading that new book, or learning how to code, or taking that dance class, just feels daunting. I used to feel this way too, until in 2020, I discovered Atomic Habits by James Clear. After reading that book, I started playing the guitar, my unfulfilled dream since 6th grade. I started running outside every day. I worked out at home consistently. I started to read, journal, meditate, take control of my finances. I started investing, all within a matter of weeks. I also switched to a vegan diet. My name is Utkarsh, and in this video, I'm going to share how I did all of that and how Atomic Habits helped me survive the pandemic by building these great habits. So picture this, it's 2020, the world is in chaos, and suddenly I find myself with a lot of extra time on my hands. I could have used that time binge watching Netflix or stress eating my weight in sourdough bread, which I did a little bit, but then I decided to invest myself and started reading some self-help books. The first book I read was Atomic Habits, and holy cow, it changed my life. And the best part, it was all thanks to breaking things down into small repeatable chunks and applying 4 simple principles. In 2019, I was working as a software engineer. I was into fitness, improv comedy, and I had a great social life. But I also felt that I didn't really have the time to sit down and do things that require patience and focus, like learning how to play the guitar or reading a new book. It was all just go, go, go. So in 2020, I found myself having a lot of extra time, and I used that time using Atomic Habits to build these amazing habits. A lot of my growth came from reading other books, but doing that while also having a full-time job, all of that was only possible by applying the 4 principles from Atomic Habits. So let's dive in, and hopefully you will find some things that are useful to you. Quick caveat, this book is hugely popular and it's very well dissected, and you will find a lot of great summaries on YouTube. But in this video, what I want to do is provide perspective of how to apply these principles practically from a perspective of a software engineer with interests in fitness, creative pursuits, and self-development. So perhaps you'd find it useful. Lesson 1. Identity is more important to change than behavior or having a goal. James Clear says, instead of having a goal, like to lose weight, focus on changing your identity. For example, adopt the identity, I'm someone who prioritizes fitness and health. By doing this, you'll start to see yourself as that kind of person who does healthy things, as opposed to forcing yourself into a behavior that is foreign to you. Lesson 2. Focus on systems rather than goals. Listen, goals are great, but they can be overwhelming and anxiety-inducing. Instead of getting caught up in the end result, try to focus on building the systems that can get you there. For example, instead of trying to play a guitar solo perfectly, set a goal to practice for 10 minutes every day. Then over time, your skills will naturally improve without the pressure of having to be perfect all the time. Lesson 3. 4 pillars of behavioral change. Make the changes visible, attractive, easy, and satisfying. Now I know what you're thinking. That's a lot of adjectives, but trust me, it works. First is make your habits visible. For example, if you want to play the guitar, don't keep it in your closet. Bring it out. In fact, I even went ahead to take the guitar out of my case and put it on a stand so that it's easily accessible. Then anytime from work I had a break or I was getting a sip of water, I would just pick it up randomly and start playing. Make it attractive. So for example, let's say you want to do more cardio. Instead of trying to go on the treadmill, honestly, treadmill is pretty boring. And if you're trying to go on treadmill, you can make it more fun by pairing that with either listening to your favorite podcast or some motivational music, hence making the activity more attractive. Make it easy. Anytime a task feels too daunting, we want to make sure to make it small and easy. So for example, if you have a goal to go run like 2 miles every day, that's too big of a goal. Why don't we just make the goal, put on your running shoes every day? Now that seems crazy, but it really works. Let's say you want to start reading a new book. Instead of trying to read like 100 pages a day, why don't you just try to read, I would say, a paragraph? That would make a huge difference. And as you accumulate these habits, it'll just become easier and you will start to build momentum, which is extremely powerful. Make it satisfying. Anytime we do a habit, we want to associate that with a positive outcome. So we want to do something satisfying to make it feel good, release that dopamine. For example, anytime you floss every day, just do a check mark on your calendar or on your habit tracking app, or just give yourself a pat on the back. Say yes, just take a moment to celebrate that. Lesson 4, the 2-minute rule. This goes hand in hand with the principle of making it easy. Anytime you want to start a new activity, make it such that it can be accomplished in 2 minutes. If you can do that, you will be much more likely to succeed at building that new habit. Lesson 5, habit stacking. We already have a lot of habits consciously or unconsciously. We're always developing new habits. Some are good and some are bad. One really powerful way of starting a new habit is by stacking it on top of an already existing habit that you have. Let's say we want to start flossing every day. We can easily stack that on top of just brushing every day before bed. That makes it easy. Another idea is that let's say we want to get up from our desk to go get a snack. Why don't you just do 10 push-ups every time you do that? You know, burn those calories a little bit. Okay, final lesson number 6, building streaks. This one is extremely powerful. You can keep track of how many days in a row you've done something. For example, working out or running. You can use a habit tracker for this, and this can be extremely motivating. The longer your streak becomes, the more unlikely you are to break it. And building and stacking these streaks can be extremely powerful and rewarding. I would say though, don't go too overboard. If you miss a day, it's okay and just move on. Because sometimes I've done this where I've become really obsessive with meeting each goal every day, and sometimes it can be stressful. If you're really competitive, you can challenge your friends by building and sharing these streaks and having that as an extra motivation as well. And there you have it, folks. The 6 principles of atomic habits that help me survive the pandemic. Whether you're trying to learn a new skill, get fit, or just be a better version of yourself, these principles will get you there. And remember, it's not about being perfect or achieving all your goals at once. It's about making small, sustainable changes that add up over time. So go out there, put your shoes on, and start building your atomic habits.